And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy, and I'm bringing you another episode of Passion Fridays. You will hear and see my avatar through real life virtual events for the first few minutes of our mindfulness exercise. I will check across platforms using a different tool, so I have to check across various platforms to see if you're tracking with me. But I am so grateful that you are here. So I am just going to take a quick look across platforms before I proceed. Let's see, where are we with that? Okay, very good. Thank you for those of you that are tuning in on YouTube events, those of you that are tuning in on the Marcus R. Holmes page, those that are tuning in on LinkedIn Live, and those that are tuning in on the Love and Stuff page. Today, I thought that we would again come to Marcus's Mindfulness Room. This is a room designed by Real Live Virtual Events Company that I'm hoping many businesses will utilize for mindfulness rooms, for orientation and onboarding, for learning instances, for meetings and recruitment and talent acquisition instances. But I today wanted to use it again for a mindfulness room moment, and thank those of you that are joining. I will double check on various platforms. So I want to make sure that. So join me in this mindfulness moment. We will do a truncated moment, but we will do a moment nonetheless. And where you see bean bags and seats, those are actual places where your avatar could sit. Okay, so Right now, I'm just standing in the general area of the fireplace. It's surrounded by waterfalls, and you can hear the music in the background. All right, so we're going to do and alleviate stress with 3 deep breaths. So it's getting you to adopt some simple stress relief techniques, and that's the taking of the 3 deep breath, but it also includes some positive affirmations that can help you shift your subconscious mind. Okay, so let's begin. Let's begin by taking in a deep breath. We're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Exhale and relax. Pause for 5 seconds. Take another deep breath. Hold it for 5 seconds. Count. You should be to 5 almost. And exhale. Just imagine blowing out all of your stress. We're going to go for the 3rd deep breath with as deep a breath as you can. Holding it for 5 seconds. And this time when you blow it out, I want you to get rid of all of the stress that you've been experiencing. I want you to say aloud, relax now. On that exhalation, relax now. Pause for 3 seconds after that. Shift your body, your neck, your arms, rotate them. And when you speak now, speak at a normal pace of speech. Even if you were in a car accident, even if your boss was yelling at you, even if the deadline was missed and it's going to cost your organization money. Relax now and speak at a normal pace. Trying to track with those that have joined us. You can do that in any moment of stress. Take a deep breath. Five seconds. Hold it deep as you can. Let it go. First time, just let it go. Second time, you're going to breathe in a little more deeply, and you're going to let it go and think of imagine your stress leaving with that breath. The third one is any residue, any remnant that's left of that stress. Let it go and say, relax now. Relax now. And then speak at your normal pace in your normal tone. Okay? It's cleansing your palate of the stress, cleansing your body of the stress, and returning you to normal speaking. And you do that 3 full breaths, a pause of 5 seconds in between. The third one, take a pause of just 3 seconds. Okay? Okay? All right. One more piece of this, and then we'll go to our next portion of today's Passion Friday. Begin by slowly blinking your eyes. Slowly, slowly. And with each number, blink once. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now allow your eyes to gently close. And when you do this, feel a wave of relaxation coming over you. So after 10, just close them gently. Don't close them tight like this. Don't squinch them closed. Just close them gently. And feel a wave of relaxation come over you. Do you feel it on your shoulders? Do you feel the tingling in your arms? Do you feel the tension leaving that shoulder blade and those arms? Let them drop. Let the wave just fall over you. Let the wave come over you. Get in that moment and let the wave come over you. So first the 3 breaths, and counting 10 backwards, you're going to blink for every number. Okay? And after that wave comes over you, speak more slowly to be in that moment. Now ask yourself, how do your eyes feel? Do they feel relaxed? If they don't, start to tell them to relax. 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 If your eyes do rapid movement, that's normal. Just keep telling your eyes to relax. Rapid eye movement is normal, right? Even after the blinking, if you're doing 10 and you're going down to 1 or 0, and in between you're blinking more than 1, that's the rapid eye movement. Keep moving through it. Keep moving through it. All right, then let's move our focus to our nose. And feel the slight sensation of the air moving in and out. Do you feel your nose hairs? Can you come in alignment with that? Is there congestion? Are you stuffy? Feel all of that that's happening with your nose as you breathe in and out. What do you feel? Focus on that feeling. And when you breathe, imagine you are being filled with calmness. And when you breathe out, imagine your body feels heavy and deeply relaxed. So you're feeling the nose hairs, you're feeling any congestion, you're feeling the airflow in and out. It takes me a couple times to feel those nose hairs, but I can feel the nasal walls when I breathe in. Focus on that. And when you breathe out, calmness and a heavy to your body, almost like you're ready to relax and just lay down. Now, I want you to focus on your ears. Notice how they feel and what are you hearing around you? Are you hearing this music? Is there something in the background in your office or home? Hear that and feel what the vibrations feel like to your ears. Try to hear every single noise. And when you feel the sound come into your ear, imagine the sounding waves and tell your ears to relax. Relax what you hear. Relax what's being said. Relax and feel the waves. Feel those waves. Just checking across platforms. We're doing a mindfulness exercise in part. Now, listen to the sound of my voice and let it calm you. Let the volume, let the pace calm you. Now, if you're doing it by yourself, you'll be listening to the sound of your voice, and you might read scriptures or your favorite poem, or you might read your favorite writing, and just listen to the sound and listen to the soothing, motherly aspects of it. And let it be your guide. And let it be your guide. Imagine imagine a path that voice has legs and it's walking you to a deeper and calmer state. And there's nothing else on that road but you and that voice leading you to a deeper, calmer state. That's just a part of the mindfulness exercise. And I wanted to show you that exercise in our mindfulness room. And so I wanted to just show you that exercise in our mindfulness room, which we are contemplating bringing a mindfulness room moment to you every Monday or every Friday. And so we'd love to have your input to let us know if you'd be interested in coming to that mindfulness room. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to harness the power of the moment. This particular mindfulness exercise is more geared toward alleviating stress, but there are tons of exercises. But stress is a pretty big deal. Just in this week, within the last 2 weeks, rather, I know of two individuals who appeared to have nothing wrong and passed away from massive heart attacks. Maybe it was stress, maybe not. But whatever we can do to alleviate the amount of stress in our life doesn't mean that stress will not come. If you are a business owner, if you are a professional, if you're a human resources professional like me, stress is a reality of life. As a matter of fact, even if I didn't name your profession or your specific role in your life, stress is a factor in life. And so how we handle it and approach it can make all the difference in the world. If you're like me, you may have triggers and high stressors that you need to get under wraps. And so one of the ways to do that is mindfulness. I started this mindfulness journey and I'm not a mindfulness guru by any state of the being, but I started this journey around 2017 in a quest to be more of my authentic self, to bring more of that authentic self to leadership and to the various aspects of my life, and to live more authentically human. And I went to the Work Human Conference and met Pandit Dasa, who I would just about swear by to say would be a great source of inspiration to help you on your path of mindfulness and being in the moment of whatever it is and harnessing from that moment what you need to power forward and have a more fuller experience, whether it's negative or positive. You can still draw from it some really powerful moments and some powerful perspective in that moment. So that exercise that we just did, truncated, was to alleviate stress. And if you're interested in that exercise in total, inbox me and I will send it to you. I only ask to exchange your name and email address. Send it to me and I'll inbox it to you and you can have it. As a matter of fact, I think I will create a link and drop it in the comments so that you can have it. And really, it is a phenomenal exercise. So if you are in traffic and you get to a stoplight and you have some moments, or if you want to pull over, recently there was a road rage incident where a father of four lost his life as a result of his interaction. And what could have changed that is being mindful in the moment, stopping, pull over, and do some deep breathing and some reframing of what negative means and reframing it for positive. It doesn't mean that you don't experience the negative, you fully sit in it, but you take from it the energy and make it positive. And you can do that in the moment. You can be painstakingly aware that you're in a life or death situation and still find moments of peace and calm and tranquility. And those will help you have a clearer mind so that you can problem solve and get a solution to come out of that situation. And so mindfulness can be very powerful, not only for leaders, but for every individual. And so we will use our mindfulness room that is sponsored by Real Life Virtual Events. They are on Facebook, they are on LinkedIn. It is a phenomenal company, and you can have access to one of these spaces by reaching out to them. These spaces are also available for events, online events, also available for such as parties and birthdays and things of that nature. But also in the business space, it's a great space to hold conference meetings if you want to get off Zoom and have a little fun with 3D avatars. It's a great space if you want to move out some of the bias that's built into your talent acquisition processes for the recruitment opportunities. If you're going to do some vestibule type of interviewing, it's a great opportunity. If you're going to do onboarding and you want something different than just the regular Zoom, and you want to bring in some folks from your affinity groups and from your mentorship groups and leadership development groups, that's a great opportunity. It's also a great opportunity for learning. You can pipe up just about any of your learning content in one of the rooms where people can watch, and you can create prizes and scavenger hunts. It's a great platform. So I wanted to highlight it and thank Richard Olaf, who is one of the partners at Real Virtual Events, for allowing me access to create Marcus's mindfulness room. If you're interested in coming on with me and doing a mindfulness session next week, and I'm going to invite mindfulness professionals who can also guide us through the sessions as well, I'd love for you to inbox me at Marcus R. Holmes on LinkedIn, Marcus R. Holmes on Facebook, Love and Stuff on Facebook, YouTube events, or Twitch TV. Now I'm going to share with you a video. I am part of an organization called CHRO Partners, Chief Human Resource Officers Partners. That's the next level that I want to be at. I want to be the Chief People Officer. That's not my resume being put out there. I'm a very proud 18-year employee of the city of Detroit as an operations general manager. But I know I should be thinking next level, and so should you. And so as a part of my professional development, I'm part of aligned with various organizations and certified in human resources in a couple of organizations as well. But one of the organizations that I am a member of is the CHRO Partners with Cindy Lou. And I wanted, with Cindy's permission, to share just a part of an interview that she had recently, which I think you will glean a lot from this interview about influence. So I'm going to share my screen on that. And I don't want you to touch that dial. You don't have a dial, do you? But I don't want you to click away. I want you to harness some of these things about influence. Now we've talked about mindfulness and being present in the situation. And there's this aspect of emotional intelligence that really brings to light our social awareness. Are you aware of the environmental aspects of the space that you're in now? The players, the people, right? The stakeholders, right? And all of the intangibles that go in that environment. What's the stress? What are the deadlines? What is the organization facing? All of those things should weigh in how you're communicating in that situation. So moving from mindfulness, just thinking about stress alleviation and thinking about moving everything out of the way so you can bring forth the best of yourself, I want you to now pivot and think about, how can I harness the power of influence in those situations and conversations after I have alleviated some of the stress? And so I want to share this video with you that she had with a mayor of Plano, Texas. Yes, she had with a mayor of Plano, Texas. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, thank you for your patience. And here we go.
Hi there, I'm Cindy Liu, and today we're going to talk to you about the importance of influence skills. And I'm joined by Harry LaRosselier, Mayor of Plano and Senior Vice President at UBS Wealth Management. Now, before I get started, I just wanted to share with you a recent study by IBM where they surveyed over 3,000 CEOs, and they found that managing anywhere work is the top priority for CEOs. And the highest performing CEOs are hyper-focused on employee well-being, even at the cost of profitability or budget. So that's the good news. The bad news is that even though they're prioritizing employee well-being, CEOs are placing their CTOs and CIOs at the center stage and deprioritizing HR. So, the influence skills are so critical, and that's why I asked Harry to join us today to discuss the importance of influence skills for HR leaders, because HR leaders should be at center stage right now. And as a founder of HR Mastermind Groups, I can't tell you how many times HR leaders have told me that they'd like to improve their influence skills. So let me just share a little bit about Harry before we get started. So as I mentioned, Harry wears multiple hats, both as the Mayor of Plano, SVP of Wealth Management at UPS, and a father and husband. So as the mayor, though, he's been really hyper-focused on creating a robust economic development environment, and as a result has been part of the team that's brought companies like Boeing Global Services, FedEx Office, Morgan Stanley Chase, Toyota, Liberty Mutual, and hundreds of smaller businesses, maybe it's thousands, I can't even keep count anymore. That really takes some influence skills. So I've asked Harry to come and share some of his frameworks and his secrets, as well as some of the stories. So Harry, I'd love to kick it off just by asking you, what are this, when you talk about influence skills, what's required for influencing the executive suite, say, versus your team members?
Well, sure. Well, I always start with kind of what does that word mean? And influence to me is a substitute for the results of leadership. So I think it starts with leadership. And as you lead, you influence an organization, you influence your team. What I've learned over the years is there's 4 keys to leadership. I keep things simple so I can remember. So I call them the 4 L's of leadership, and that is leaders listen. They listen to their team to understand what's happening on the ground so they can formulate a plan. Leaders learn, which means that they take action, and it may not be the best, but they course correct. Leaders lead by example. You actually be the first one in, last one out, and do what you say you're going to do. So expect your teammates to do others to do as well. And then leaders let go, which is often the hardest thing for a leader to do, is to let go and trust in your process, trust in your abilities, trust in your teammates, trust in your team. And letting go is really just another way of saying creating that space of vulnerability, because it's the willingness to possibly fail publicly, because you've put yourself out there as someone who is going to move forward in a productive manner. Best story I can share with you was when I was on city council. I had, to lead with my council was difficult, because it was interesting because I had a very friendly council. They were all my friends. They were people I knew I served with as a city council member, and I became mayor. But I'm kind of one of those people, it's a moving train, let's get on it and, jump on it and do what you can, because we have so much to do. You talked about job creation. That was such a component for us. But there was a lot of anxiety from my council because I wasn't including them. And it was just a question of me applying those 4 L's and bringing them as part of the plan. And when you listen to your teammates, it's amazing. When you formulate the plan, they somehow think it's theirs. And when they think they're 100% committed.
Can you teach me how to do that with my teenager?
No, I have a 22 and a 23-year-old, and haven't been able to transfer that skill to them yet, but I'm still working on it. They are a work in progress, not me.
There you go. Oh, that's great. So often, when you want to influence somebody, you really have to get to the pain point, right? And I had a leader who once told me, they'll tell you the answers to the test. You just have to ask the right questions. So what's your process when influencing others to jump on board with a proposal or idea?
Yeah, so I look at that as sales 101, and often the word sales can have a negative connotation because you're thought of being manipulative or abrasive, but really sales is the art of understanding what a person's problem is or what their pain point is, as you call it, and then devising the solution. If you are excellent at sales, it's because you've been able to identify what matters to that client or person that you're interacting with, that you're dealing with this transaction, as we'll call it, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. And that process starts with discovery, understanding the current situation, expected outcome, and the key factors that you have to consider to get to that place. And then you develop a solution to identify. But what matters most, though, is to be real, genuine, and believe in what you're presenting, because otherwise, then it is a sales job that you're just trying to convince someone rather than bringing them over to your side because you truly believe this is what's best for the organization or that person or that division.
Do you have a couple stories, like especially as it relates to bringing companies?
Yeah, so you mentioned at the outset, and I appreciate that kind introduction. We've been very successful in bringing companies to Plano since I was mayor. I became mayor in 2013. We brought companies like Toyota, JP Morgan Chase, Liberty Mutual, Boeing, FedEx Office, and a host of others, and there was nothing fundamentally different about Plano when I became mayor, other than the fact that when I was telling the story of Plano, I truly believe in this case, let's use the Toyota example as our biggest land, so to speak, is I asked the executives, I didn't know what company it was that I was talking to, I just knew the size and the scope, and I asked what was most important to them, and they said their people. Unequivocally, it was very quick. They're people. And then I said, well, if your people matters, then you're going to want to be in the city where it's one of the safest cities in America, one of the best school districts, business friendly, and all the things I truly believe that I wasn't just saying because it sounded good. I truly believe that. I told my story of coming here from New York and thinking I was going to be here a couple of years, and though it's going to be a geographical shift for the people in their organization, the move was going to be beneficial because they did not want to lose their culture. And I truly believe that if their employees gave not only Plano, but really North Texas area a shot, that they would embrace it and we would embrace them. And so that's probably the easy example. And I've used that throughout my tenure here as I've looked to bring some companies on board.
Talk about flying blind. You didn't even know who the company was, right?
So no.
Really I just
I just knew that they said that the people mattered and their culture mattered. I mean, and so not everyone has job relocation opportunities, but it's applicable in business as well. So with UBS, we work with a lot of companies to provide financial planning benefits. And so, for example, there's been a case where a local company needed flexibility. That was what they needed within their compensation package to reward their key contributors with a financial planning benefit, very similar to kind of sending someone to Cooper's Clinic. You talked about wellness. That's a very easy way to provide wellness because executives worry about their financial future, not so much that whether they'll have it, whether they're making the right decisions. And so that benefit can be very advantageous to retaining, creating loyalty. And we were working with a particular company, and I knew, whenever we're in that space with us and maybe one or two other key competitors, I knew our flexibility in our firm was the key contributing factor to make it work for them. And I believed in it, and I stressed it. And, you know, we were able to win that opportunity and create a plan that was right for them, because we weren't just shaping them. We were just being flexible to their needs.
Right, right. So starting off with asking great questions, really understanding how they make their decisions, what's important to them, and then tailoring your solution to that.
And then when it comes to your, your chief human resource officers, a lot of times it's making having that conversation with the right person. Right. The worst thing you can do is a great presentation to someone who's not truly the decision maker, and he or she is not going to deliver your message, but it's not you delivering the message; it's one's removed. So it's important to speak to your executive suite members, and that goes to influencing in a different way, because we talked about influencing earlier. You influence your team differently. The skills you use to influence your team is different than the skills you use to influence the C-level executives in the executive suite.
Yeah, I'm going to go off script a little bit here, but like, what advice do you have when maybe a CHRO is sort of kept from the board, but the board ultimately is going to make a vote on a critical decision, right? I mean, essentially, that's sort of what happened to you, right, with Toyota. You didn't even know who you were really talking to. What advice do you have for HR leaders as to how to handle that?
Well, I think it really begins with developing the relationship. So again, going back to my counsel example, the skills I use to influence my counsel is different than the skills that I use to work with our county, state, and federal elected officials. And so, for example, those members of those other bodies, I don't see them twice a month, and I don't vote on issues with them on a regular basis. So I have to make a genuine and intentional effort to develop a relation with them on some level, so that when this key moment of influence comes, I'm not a stranger trying to knock on their door. They know who I am. So it comes from a place of, again, genuineness. We reach out to our state and federal elected officials, and we meet with them. And of course, there's always something we can work on, but there's not necessarily a specific ask or here's what I want from you. It's really more, here's what I understand what your goals are. Here's what I want to understand what the bigger picture is, and figure out where I can connect the dots and fill in from my role. And when the time is right, when that opportunity is there, I think there's a higher comfort level to say, Mr. CFO or Mr. CEO, for this portion, it's critical that I deliver this message because I understand what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Yeah, they feel like you're on their side, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you're now and you're part of that team that has that leadership vision that they've listened to, so that they can formulate the plan that the whole organization gets on board.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a book some years ago that I read by a gentleman named Khan, and it's called Let's Get Real or Let's Not Play. And it really was more focused towards sales executives. But, I can't tell you how many times I've heard HR leaders say, why we went to propose this program for employees, and, their heart's in the right place. For everything they do is for their employees, but yet they just can't get it pushed through. And sometimes I think you have to call it and say, you know what, this is not one we're going after, because you understand all the dots that need to be connected, and maybe it's just not something that can be connected. I don't know if you have ideas or what you do to discipline yourself to say no to things, right, that just you can't be successful at.
Correct. Well, if it's not aligned with the long-term plan for the organization, then you have to acknowledge that. If it is aligned, but it is longer term, then I think it's kind of coming down to reading the room. If you have an executive team that is focused on immediate results, even though you know that this is going to take 3 to 5 years to implement, and in 5 years we're going to be in such a better place, it might not be the appropriate time to bring it up when there's a 2-year time frame to complete some kind of a situation or transaction. So there's that component of it as well, because you want to set yourself up for success and again be aligned with the decision maker that you're ultimately trying to help. It was interesting when you talked earlier. You're saying that the CEOs say, invest in the human capital is how important it is, yet it seems like they're not doing it. This is a time at some point as well, though, influencing is, again, that vulnerability. And when you're influencing up, as I will call it, to your C-suite executives, in your private moments, in the moments where, as you're building relationship, it's important that you take a stand or take a position, maybe not a stand, but take a position that I believe in X amount of years, if we're doing this, then this is the organization will be, this is the talent we can bring, and plant that seed so that you can ultimately drive that forward in a productive way.
That's great. That's great. Well, speaking of books, do you have any books that you have read that have really influenced you in your journeys?
Yeah, so I have 3 books I thought of that I'd like to share with the audience. First is It Worked for Me in Life and Leadership by Colin Powell. So Colin Powell and I have a lot of parallels, both from the West Indies, grew up in Harlem, went to City College, studied geology, both of us. And then our path kind of went a little different, but one of my thrills as mayor was when he came to Capital One for an event and we spoke, and I have a picture of him. In fact, that's the plaque up there. That's that plaque right there. Right, me and Colin Powell in his book. So it speaks of his journey, and he talks about growing into the positions that he has and the leadership skills that it required. I read Extreme Leadership by Jocko Willink, and he was an ex-Marine, served in Iraq, and he talks about certain situations that they were in, like real life situations, and the skills that it took and how transferable they are to the boardroom. And the third one I thought about was a book that really helped me. It was called The One Thing by Gary Keller, The One Thing. And it's talking about how we've gotten to the point of multitasking so much that we tend to try to do a lot of things at once, and we don't do the one thing that's most important. So at the end of the day, we can say I checked off 10 things, but the one thing that was most important, we might not have gotten to it. So the concept of the book is identifying what is the most important thing of those 10, and only do that. And then when you complete it, move on to the next thing. And if you only did 3 things on your list of 12, but they were the 3 most important things, you probably will have a bigger impact in your day than if you did 9 or 10 of them, but the most important things you left off. So those are the 3 I'd like to share with you.
All right, good. We will link to those books in the show notes. And also, if you've been so kind and generous, such a servant leader with so much of our HR community, and helping educate them on what they can do as far as employee benefits to their staff. How can people connect with you? Should they connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great opportunity. As one of the programs I initiated as mayor is this Mayor Summer Internship Program, and I shared with the students, those high school students. And my LinkedIn is your professional social media. More professionals use LinkedIn as a means of communicating and connecting. And I'd love to connect with HR folks and learn about their companies. And a lot of times the services we offer, it's kind of a timing thing. It's an opportunity, and it always starts with getting to know each other and having that relationship. And so I'm very open to doing that. We work with a number of the companies locally, and it's been a great experience to work with HR professionals, because y'all have the most fun, and I truly believe y'all have the most important job in organizations. It's often not identified in an explicit way, but companies come companies are about the people. It's not about the products. It's not about the building. It's about the people. And if you can cultivate that right culture, then companies are good and great forever.
Yeah, that's music to my ears. Well, thank you, Harry, again for continually supporting our community, and we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully at the next big HR event.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you can look me up on LinkedIn or the Kravitz Group with UBS. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well,
thank you, Cindy.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you, Cindy and Harry LaRosiere, for that lesson on influence. And I hope that whether you are a CHRO or whether you are a business leader, whether you're a leader of your own organization or just a leader of your house, hopefully some of the leadership principles and the book recommendations are ones that you can use. It's 1 o'clock. I thank you for this Passion Fridays. If you enjoy this content, click share so that someone else can enjoy both the mindfulness room exercise and the interview with Cindy and Harry. And follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube events, on Twitch TV, on LinkedIn, Marcus R. Holmes or HR Passion LLC, Facebook, Marcus R. Holmes or Love and Stuff page, Twitch TV and YouTube events, HR Passion Guy. Join us next week for another Passion Friday where we share people that intersect with their passions. We find people that we connect to passion and we talk with passionate people. I'm Marcus Holmes. Have a grateful weekend.